Good morning, students. How are you? I hope you all are doing well. Okay, let's start our new chapter. How do organisms reproduce? Okay, let's start the chapter. Reproduction is a process by which living organisms are able to produce new ones of their own kind. And reproduction is an energy expanding process which is not at all essential to maintain the life of an individual, but it is essential for the whole species. Right, it is essential process for the existence and continuity of the species. The continuity of the life on the earth from its origin to the present day has been possible only due to the reproduction. Okay, now in the reproduction there is an important process that is called DNA replication. A replication means to make its own copy, right? To make its own copy, replication is done and the duplicate copy is made, then this duplicate copy is transferred to the newly formed cells, right? Okay, the sexual reproduction involved the mechanism of this replication, which is capable of producing similar multiple blueprints. It forms the blueprints of the DNA. The cellular component of the hereditary transmission are in the form of the molecules, macromolecules, which are called DNA. And the full form of DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid, right? It is called deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid, right? Okay. DNA contains all the information to make the specific protein, which in turn forms enzymes to control the chemical reaction of the body, or we can say it is these chemical reaction which govern the metabolism of the body to produce a specific characters. Thus, for transmitting the characters to the next generation prior to reproduction, DNA forms its copies to transport into the newly formed reproductive cells. And this process is called replication of DNA, right? Okay, then sometime uh, variations are also produced. Not sometime, always the new copies are not the exact the mother copy, right? Then variation in the organism occur due to the process of replicate mistakes, or we can say um, some uh, mistake is the correct word in the process of replication. And DNA copies which are forming, they are not the identical of the original copy. Minor alternation during the DNA replication are responsible for making the variation for a long term, right? This all the reproductive gametes may not have exactly the same characters. In this way, mistakes in this process of DNA replication is one of the fundamental reason for the origin of variation, which is passed over one generation to the next to next, right? Okay, now next is importance of variation. These variation are very important for the evolution of new species or the for the survival of the species, right? Then population of organized normally organism, sorry, it should be organism, normally live and interact with a definite kind of the ecological niches. If there is an alteration in the ecological condition of such places, the population of organisms will get damaged or maybe wiped out. Then the variant of the organism may have chance of survival. The surviving individual may produce and develop a kind of the population which is suited in the change, the variation in this change, and the variation is beneficial for the species but not necessary for an individual, right? Now next is types of reproduction. Then one more thing, this word reproduction also explain its meaning. Re means again and production means to produce. Then to produce again, This is called reproduction, and reproduction is of two types. The first one is the asexual reproduction, and the second is the sexual reproduction. Now see one by one. The first is asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction involves the production of an offspring from the single parent without the fusion of gametes. Without fusion of gametes. Asexual reproduction mostly occur in unicellular organisms, and some plants also perform this type of reproduction as the algae, fungi, bryophytes, etc. And certain multicellular animals like the sponge and hydra, they also reproduce by this method. The young ones receive all its gene from one parent. Okay. Now, second is sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is a mode of reproduction that involves two individuals, one male and second female. And they produce sex cells which are called gametes, and they fuse to form the new individual. Okay, then this is enough for today, and next time I will explain asexual reproduction. Thanks for watching me. Thank